This is Dan Fluchop, broker owner of Lake Place Gallery of Homes in Pine River, Minnesota. And today we are talking about home inspections. We're talking, we have Kyle Holm here with Home Team Inspections.
Thank you, Dan. Again, my name is Kyle Holm. I'm the owner of Home Team Inspection Service. I'm a residential home inspector. I've been a home inspector here in central Minnesota for 6 years, and I've inspected over 2,500 homes, so it's great to be here with you this morning.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Subflooring is another critical area to look at in any home. There's can be some very expensive repairs that come from that if there's issues found. Kyle, when you're looking at the subflooring of a home, what are you looking for?
Okay. So it'll either be visible in a basement or a crawl space. You know, we're looking at the wood joists below the actual subfloor. That's all considered the subfloor structure. And then how are the floor joists supported? And there could be a multitude of things, how it's set up. It depends on the age of the home. Obviously, over the years, the builders have become more concerned about properly supporting the subfloor. But a big concern area with subfloor is moisture damage, whether the house has a basement or a crawl space. You know, a lot of basements in Minnesota, let's face it, they get very damp. Some of them actually have standing water with sump pumps that keeps routinely getting pumped out. I've seen all those different conditions. Well, if you don't control the moisture level in a crawl space or a basement, that moisture level, let's say it's a 60% or 65% average moisture level in a crawl space. Over time, that causes dry rot conditions to the floor joists. And an example of that was a couple years ago, I looked at a house on Pelican Lake. It was a fully renovated home. I drove up, it looked beautiful. New roof, new siding, new windows. Walked in the house, new flooring, new appliances. I mean, it looked like it was a 1-year-old home, but it was actually a 75-year-old home. A lakefront, it was on a crawl space. So I got down in the crawl space as part of my home inspection, and at first glance, Dan, I thought everything was going to be fine because I'm looking at the floor joists. You know, a lot of times if there's significant wood rot conditions to floor joists, you just see it, the wood's crumbling off. But when I look down the line at these floor joists, it's almost like your eyes lie to you sometimes as a home inspector because what you first look at looks fine. Well, another test that I'll do is I'll go along and I'll squeeze the wood joists. Just when I'm down there, I'll just kind of feel what they feel like. And I actually poked my fingers through about the first 3 inches of the wood joist. These are 2x8 wood joists, and I poked my fingers through them. Not just one, but multiple.
Wow.
So let's say 4 inches of the wood was still good, but 3 to 4 inches at the bottom was rotting.
Wow.
But the wood still looked intact, just visually looking at it. So I went along in some different areas, and I found that at least half of the subfloor wood joists had major softwood conditions that were occurring. So that becomes very expensive because what normally happens when a general contractor goes and finds something like that, they recommend that new wood joists be installed or sistered alongside the damaged wood joist to provide that support because they don't want it to get any worse. Once that wood rot starts occurring, it just continues. It's just going to continue to work its way up into the wood. So they'll install new wood joists along the damaged ones. Well, basically, you're spending hours in that subfloor making those repairs, and it's extremely expensive. So there was an example of we had what on first glance, looking at a house, was in overall great condition. But one major component of that house, the subfloor structure, had never really been addressed. So when we got into it with the further discussions with the seller simply made the statement, hey, I went down there and looked. Everything looked fine to me. I just didn't know how to evaluate it really. Never had a contractor go down there and really look at it because it looked fine. I didn't see any wood rot on, wood or anything on the floor to indicate that there were problems. So that's kind of what we look for. Okay, so then let's talk about basements, and obviously got more room to look around in the basements just because the height. The older homes are very concerning. I've been in homes that are 90, we've got homes in Brainerd that are 120 years old. And the issue with those subfloors is that wood, as it ages, let's face it, it's going to get damaged, whether the floor joists are going to crack, they're going to start bowing, or they get wood rot conditions. So I've been in some basements where a few of the wood joists have already been replaced with new wood, but then there will be 10 others that nobody has repaired yet. And it begs the question, well, why was a partial repair done, but not a full repair? And then there's nothing in the seller disclosure stating that there was repairs that were identified that need to be made to the subfloor. So it can get expensive when you're dealing with subfloor repairs, for sure. So it's best to have it fully evaluated